Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis. Good morning, Leeward Islands. Good morning, OECS. Hey, good morning to the entire Caribbean. And since we are at it, we might as well say good morning to the entire world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whatever it is in your corner of the world. Welcome to another edition of Island Tea here on winnfm 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and we are going to be having some interesting discussions, I hope, with your involvement, with your input about what is happening, the latest news on the local scene, the regional scene, and the international scene. All kind of things, according to the late Bob Marley. We got so much things to say right now. We got so many things happening all over. And it's another edition. I'm here alone. Cartencia isn't in today. But we say good morning, Cartencia, wherever you are. I'm sure you're logged in and tune in to what's happening here. Good morning to all the listeners, the regular callers. And though you listen and you may not call, hey, thank you for tuning in to winnfm 98.9. As we say, looking back at the competition from miles ahead. I like that statement. I like that jingle. I like whatever it is. Looking back at the competition from miles ahead. Not just ahead, from miles ahead. And wherever you are in the island of St. Kitts and Nevis, winnfm covering the entire island, good morning to you. Where are we going to start this morning? We didn't get to touch the Labor Day yesterday. Yesterday, that is, we didn't get to touch the Labor Day functions, the Labor Day march. That not really much. I mentioned it. We didn't have a discussion on it. And here in the Caribbean and throughout the world, most countries celebrate Labor Day on the 1st of May. We celebrate it on the first Monday. Is it that a good thing? Is it not a good thing? Would it be better to celebrate it on the 1st? I think I like the first Monday because it guarantees a long weekend. When it's on the 1st, the 1st could be any day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day. I sort of like the weekend thing. And we have a few holidays here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we have another holiday coming up, the Wit weekend. When is the Wit? I think the Wit is the 24th. The 20-something is the Wit or thereabout. And that's going to be another public holiday. Let me just confirm with Monday. And I haven't been hearing much about Green Valley. Green Valley, they normally have their festival. Actually, it's May the 25th. May the 25th. So that's 3 Mondays from today. It's going to be Wit. And the Green Valley, they normally have their festival around that. We've had quite a many festival here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And would you believe it's just last night I was playing some dominoes, or I should say, trying to play some dominoes. And the gentleman was telling me, not even asking me, telling me that the group that I've been a part of, Crab Hill Sports Club out of Sandy Point, SP where the best seat, SB, Hub City, hub, that we should bring back Easterama. And I had to tell him why that's a very expensive venture. It only looks so, And we've had quite a few community festivals over the years. A lot of persons may not know it, but back then it was Dinorama in Sandy Point. That's the second oldest festival in the country behind National Carnival. National Carnival started in 1971, and Dinorama started in, was it 71 or 72? I do know it started before Culturama, and I know there was some misconception about Villagerama and etc. But in my research, a crew from the village came down to Sandy Point to check out the organizers of Dinorama to find out, hey, how you guys doing things, get some ideas, and that is okay. I believe in that. Why reinvent the wheel when you have the resources? And the Culturama that was started after the festival in Sandy Point. And we've had a few festivals. We had MI Fest in Middle Island, Festival de Capistier. That was basically centered about that's St. Paul's. We had a mansion fest a couple of years ago, family fest, I think it is. They only had it for 1 or 2 festivals. There was a St. Peter's Fest, there's Guy Fest, Villagerama, that's there. Gutterama, there was a Gutterama happening in Westbourne Gut. Shadowrama, there was a Shadwell, I think Shadwell had a festival. And of course, Newtown, the fish festival it's called, up in Newtown. And where else? Green Valley, Inner City Fest. Molyneux had a festival as well. And Saddle Fiesta. Boy, we've had quite a few festivals here in St. Kitts. But they've faded. Very, very expensive venture. And most times the organizers have to put monies from their pockets into the festival. And when you see a crowd come, I remember our first festival. You see a big crowd, boy. I say, wow, boy, we're making a lot of money. But when you start to pay out 4,000, 5,000 for the band, the cash prizes, and this year and that, you realize, boy, hold on. Bills, a lot of bills there, but money going fast. So that's something else. But Green Valley, who knows? They might give us a call and let us know what is happening. So the Labor Day March. Did you see it? Did you go? Over the years, it has moved away, let me put it away, from the true intention, the true nature of the march. And that's a cry not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but throughout the Caribbean. It has been, though it's called Labor Day March, it is meant for the workers. Labor as in to work, as opposed to a Labour Party. But the various Labour parties in the islands, where you have like the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, the Barbados Labour Party, Jamaica Labour Party, whatever Labour Party you have, they have basically taken it over and turned it into a political event as opposed to what it was meant for. My idea of what a Labor Day March should be, I don't know. Rams, for example. Rams should be able to encourage their workers to go out and march for their workers, right? And they wear their Rams uniform. TDC, the workers go, they wear their TDC uniform. I don't know, National Bank, their workers go wearing the National Bank uniform. Whether it's a uniform or they have T-shirts, National Bank T-shirts, Rams T-shirts, or whatever. And in case you may not want to wear a color for whatever reason of a company, in speaking to somebody suggested wearing white, which is considered the neutral color. And to me, that has a bit of reasoning in it. So you wear white and you support the workers, not the Labour Party. And some parties may use that to campaign what we have done, what we're going to do. Is that right? Should you be talking about that? Or should you be talking about what has happened to the workers, like back in the 80s, I think it was, where female workers, I don't know how many persons know it, once you were not married and I think you got pregnant, you lost your job in the civil service, and that was changed under the administration. Who was it? I think it's the People's Action Movement, the government of the People's Action Movement, and the NRP. Sometime in the 80s, after that election in 1980. And then, I was going to say the students, pregnant mothers, could go back to school, but that's not really a workers' thing. And in terms of workers, the Provident Fund, that ended. And you had the Social Security. And there's something else that affected the labor, workers. Let me put it that way, workers. It had something to do with funding as well. But anyway, these are the things should be championing. The working hours, the working environment, and especially this month, mental health. Looking at how workers may be affected mentally by the work environment. Peer pressure, bullying, I don't know. Are the bosses really being fair to the workers? The involvement of the Human Resources Department. I don't know how many persons realize that is a very, very, very powerful department. Human Resources. it is a management function, but from my understanding, it is not for management. It is like the police of the company, so to speak. It is supposed to, and I'm paraphrasing, ensure the workers don't take advantage of the management, and conversely, ensure the management doesn't take advantage of the workers. Making sure you work your hours, you get overtime, the overtime rate, etc., etc. And of course, you come to work for 8 hours. But hey, these are so many topics. The card in home. There was a video circulating last week, was it, or the week before, about the condition of the card in home. And I think over the years, over the years, the card in home has gone through some very positive transformation. And I've been down there a few times. I've gone down, I've played guitar down there, entertained the residents there for a few Sundays. Last year, was it year before last? I can't remember. And trying to sing, of course. I like singing, but I really can't sing. And I was pretty pleased with down there how it is, the cleanliness, etc., how organized it was. But the video was saying there has been, how should I put it? The situation there has declined. And but then there was a release from the Ministry of Health that said they are investigating it, and the Prime Minister calls for more private sector participation on the renovation of the card in home. And this is an article carried on WinFM 98, WinFM May 6th, and it is done by Kevin Brown, St. Kitts and Nevis. Renovations are on the way at the card in home in St. Kitts for the 2026 fiscal year. The renovations are key in improving the living conditions of the island's elderly and vulnerable citizens ahead of the facility's 100th anniversary in 2027. Wow, that's been around a long time. How many of you know that? The card in home is going to make 100 years next year, Godspeed. Skilled inmates from His Majesty's prison are leading the refurbishment, applying their trade skills while giving back. The new and I quote, the new strategy will be is that a team of skilled persons from His Majesty's prison will now be permanently responsible for the upkeep and renovations of the card in home. This will also be a place where they can also develop skills, and we already have people who are well skilled there. Never again, Madam Speaker, would we allow the card in home to go in the dilapidated state. That's the word I was looking for, dilapidated. Dilapidated state in which we met it. Okay, we met it. That was in August 22 when the Labour Party became government. And this is now 26, like 3 years later, 3.5. Okay. And where are we? I can say that work has already started, and this policy or this new approach will ensure that the card in home is kept in good stead. We must ensure that those who need us must hold on. We must ensure that those who need us most, that they are also well taken care of, Madam Speaker. We know that the card in home over the years has had very little investment. The decision has been made to improve the card in home and to invest heavily. And end quote, Minister of Health and Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Jude said during a recent sitting of the National Assembly. Members of the private sector are partnering with the government on this initiative, and Prime Minister Drew invited the sector to provide further support. And I could relate to that. Whether we like it or not, the government cannot do everything. However, provisions should be made. And the what if question, what if we don't get any private sector support? Or what if the support we are expecting from the private sector is not at the level that we really want to? I don't know. It takes $2 million as an example to do whatever it pays. But when the private sector contributes, you're only getting, I don't know, $1 million, $750,000. So where do you get the other 1 point whatever million from? And I agree, the government cannot do it alone, and the private sector, they have to be a part of it. They have to be partners. They have to be good corporate citizens. And I keep saying, when I was director of culture, I went to Barbados 2015, and I was fortunate to be there for the crop over final. I remember Calypsonian came out on stage, Calypso #1. And that Calypsonian is sponsored by ABC. I said, wow, that's a good idea, boy. This Calypsonian had some good initiative to go out and get sponsorship because it's expensive to compete, eh? The preparation, the dress, you have to get your props, pay people, some of the time pay band singers, whatever. Then the second Calypsonian came out, and he's sponsored by company CDEFG. I said, whoa, that's a good thing, boy. They normally say when one person think about something, two persons think about it or more. The third Calypsonian comes out and he's sponsored or she's sponsored by PQRS. I said, well, hold on, no, this can't be something happening here. So when I asked the question, I was told that the corporate citizen, the corporate companies, the businesses, they have tax relief when they sponsor these entities, be the Calypsonian, schools, national associations like the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. You know, I'm not going to let that go without plugging for my association, my organization. The churches, community groups, whatever you want to call it. They have tax relief, tax break. And my understanding is, let us say they spend $2 million on sponsorship around the country and whatever. And let us say at the end of the year, when they're doing their tax returns, they should be taxed on $10 million. And again, this is just my example. And there's a figure, whatever the figure is, whether it's 2 times, 3 times, 1.5 times of what you sponsor. So let us say, for the purpose of what I'm talking about, you spend $2 million. And let's say the figure is, I don't know, three times. So 3 times whatever you spend is deducted from what you should be taxed on. So you should be taxed on 10 million, however you sponsored 2 million, and the factor is 3, so 3 2s are 6. So the government says, okay, Troy Biff Mills and your company, you've been a good corporate citizen, so we won't tax you on $6 million. 6 from 10 is 4, so we're only going to tax you on $4 million. And that has encouraged a lot of companies to come on board and sponsor. Trinidad and Tobago, they do the same thing. I don't know if you're familiar, and forgive me for using sports example. Like you have W connections in sports and in culture, Petrochin, Renegade, Steel Banner, whatever the case is. So the sponsors, they sponsor Steel Pan, they sponsor football, cricket, and the same thing applies. And I'm suggesting, and I've been suggesting for years, and I haven't been doing a good job at it. I'm suggesting to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis to consider that. And I suspect once it's done, and note my choice of words, please, I suspect once that is done, we'll have more companies, big, small, in between, coming on board and being good corporate citizens, sponsoring things. And in the case what the Prime Minister is talking about, partnering the card in home. And I'm going to use one of our sponsors here on winnfm 98.9's Island T, TDC. TDC comes up and say, okay, the work is $5 million, I don't know. We're going to give $2 million, $3 million, or who knows, maybe even the $5 million to renovate the Carding home, and the government does the taxing. And then another one of our sponsors, Ram, say, okay, we're going to sponsor, I don't know, the food for the children home. And I don't know, I'm just suggesting to the tune of $1 million a year, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, I don't know. And the government say, okay, Rams, we appreciate that. 10 times what, and they do the bats. Hold on, boy, the phone line being going crazy here. I may be onto something. I may have touched a nerve. Good morning, caller. Welcome to... Oh, we missed that one. We have another one. Good morning, caller. Oh, boy, we missed that. Oh, boy. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Island T here on winnfm 98.9. You're live.
Yes, good morning to you, Biff, man.
Good morning, Mr. Bull. Boy, you're first off on the show. You came in at number 3, really, but you were promoted to number 1. How are you, sir?
Yeah, pretty good. And I want to say, right, I'm so happy that I had that conversation with you last night, right? And I want to thank you for putting out your number for me to
No
call you,
problem,
right?
sir.
Because you see, right where we was last night.
Yes, sir.
This is where you're at right now this morning, and
Oh,
that's why I really wanted to call in because you see the mentorship programs that I was telling you about.
yes, sir.
Then we get the private entities to sponsor those things.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's right up the alley. It's technically right up the alley what
Of
you're saying
course.
right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You've seen what was going on in Barbados, and that's what I'm asking to happen in St. Kitts and Nevis right now too. And like you were saying right now this morning, and we be talking about like a lot of different areas in society, like the agriculture. Why can't we get like a restaurant or a hotel to sponsor a farm? You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like adopt a farm. Like out here in the outside world, we will have companies. They will adopt like a highway, even, and that highway is kept clean. You know what I'm saying?
Of course,
Like
Carla.
these are the type of ideas. These are the kind of type of ideas that's been running through my head. You know what I mean? Um, get the kids them involved in these mentorship programs, and we have whether it be a private person or a company sponsor these mentorship programs. It will bear fruits. Trust me, it will bear fruits. That's a must. It must bear fruits, Bill. You got to catch the kids them at a young age.
I agree. Bend
These
the tree
guys
while
were
it's young.
yes, these guys that are teenagers, man. They won't even listen to their if they ain't listening to their parents. You think they're gonna come in the community and listen to you or me?
Of course not.
You catch the kids them at a young age and we bend them there when they're down there and mold them. Because you listen to a person like Miss Henry yesterday, man, that lady, some people might see her as controversial or whatever, but
And
that
nothing
lady
is,
is an
nothing is wrong in
icon,
being
bro.
controversial, Boyle. Not,
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
nothing is wrong, but it's just that a lot of us, we can't accept that. Especially
Yeah,
if you're
we
not
don't want to
talking
accept.
something that
We
I
gotta.
agree, I have an issue.
Yeah, yeah. We have to accept other people's views and opinions. You know what I'm saying? It's a legislation. I think that Miss Henry be speaking about it, like a disability legislation. Man, that legislation should be named after Miss Henry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Elimat is now gone. We're trying to give Elimat his flowers when he's gone now. Man, we got to
Well,
get off of that
hold on, Bull.
bandwagon.
Hold
We
on, Bull.
got to start giving people the. Yeah, go
Bull,
ahead.
are you sure he's going to be given any flowers?
Man,
We would
man,
like to think so.
the process that they're putting through these guys through to be national heroes, man, why can't the committee just do it? Like you said, just do it, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Biff, when it comes down to that, right? You see, Ellie Matt, I listened to Edinburgh yesterday on Freedom FM, right? And the man have such a catalog. The man needs to get a museum for himself. King
Indeed.
Ellie Matt, he needs to get a museum for
I,
himself.
I
People
think it's
come
over
visit.
100
People come when they
albums.
come. Yes, this is see what I'm talking about. When people come to the islands, they could make it a stop. Put that on your itinerary to go visit the Elimat Museum. Man, private people got to come forward, man. Get up off of them millions of dollars that you're sitting on under your bed and try to do something. The Prime Minister is right. The government can't do not everything. And Beth, me personally, man, I embark on a project, right, over in the village.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the youngsters then don't even really want to come to work, bro. There's so much stuff I got
Wow.
do at a house I put down over there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to come to work. Man, if I give you
Wow.
certain examples, you will say that's unbelievable. And I got my money in my pocket. Man, them white boys' money is better than my money.
Mm-hmm.
That you will run and work for them white boys at them hotels and them projects. But I'm a local man, born in the village. I'm trying to look out for my brethren down. The man don't want to come to work. And these are the type of problems that we have in St. Nevis. Not everybody's the same, but we got to be lucky that we have a small population, and we need to exhibit that, show that we can control and run our affairs while the population is down because the leaders are asking about population increase and the problems they have with social security. Yes, they
Yes.
need to influx about 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
The Prime Minister then need to look in terms of opening up the immigration policies and influx of persons. But if we can't control and exhibit management of 5,000 people in Nevis and 38,000 and change in St. Kitts, 50 something thousand combined.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't exhibit that now, do you think we're going to exhibit it when 10,000 people is influx?
Of course not.
You know, immigration is a touchy subject. But
Mm-hmm.
St. Kitts Nevis, yes, the population needs to be increased, and we just run the numbers game after that. But out
Mm-hmm.
here in the outside world, man, when we're talking about millions of people, like Biff, for instance, I went to Ghana. I took a trip to Ghana. When I see the amount of people in downtown Accra, man, it's amazing. The first thing that came to my mind, how the HELL, they're able to feed all these people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about agriculture, we're not seeing the injection in agriculture, man, and the investment as we should. Any place in the Caribbean that should be self-sufficient in food should be Nevis and St. Kitts because our population is down, and we need to be a shining star in some area. We got to
Indeed.
become a shining star in some area. Even the guy Jam down, we talking about keeping Pastor clean. And how difficult it is to keep Pastor clean. We must be a shining star in some areas. And if we can't do it while our population down, and the population increase later on, how are we going to be able to manage and control? With all that money that's collected in the CBI program, St. Kitts Navy should be in tip-top shape.
Before you
Babe,
run off,
I'll leave it there,
not
man.
before you run off, caller. The Prime Minister, he has been encouraging all of us to help to build the population of St. Kitts and Nevis, be fruitful and multiply. What are you going to be doing to add to that multiplication? And of course, he's encouraging me to get back in the bullring and multiply. So what are we going to do about that, Bull?
Come on, man. How much more time you got to get into that bull ring, man?
I mean, I don't know. Abraham got children and Rebecca got children when they were what, 900, 600 and something. So
what happened? You have a word. You have a word they call adoption. You can adopt too.
and
You know
well,
what I'm
no,
saying?
adoption isn't multiplying the population, is it? It's just like moving a child from Sandy Point to
from
St.
here to
Newcomb.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got you.
But
Got
the thing
you.
is,
Got you. Got you.
persons have been saying that it's good. That's a good thing with the Prime Minister, but he has to lead from the front. A leader leads from the front, so he has to lead by example. I don't know. And having been
So he got to
relative,
get in. So he got to get in the. So he got to
yes,
get in the bull
he
ring
got to get
too,
back
right?
in the bull ring. He's newly married, and he has a child that I know of. He has one child who is 20
Yeah.
something. But they're saying, "Why, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm willing to get back in the bull ring, but you got to get back in the bull ring first. And once you gone in, then I gonna jump in and I gonna encourage Burrell to jump in. And who knows, 20, 30, 40 people might jump in. Okay, Burrell.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yes,
Definitely, but the immediate help that Social Security is looking for, right?
Yes.
They can meter in some persons into the federation, especially skilled workers, so that they can get that card in home up to speed and such. But if the Social Security fund is in jeopardy right now,
Yes,
they
real
should
problems.
think about come up off of that immigration policy,
Mm-hmm.
influx some adults, working class, skilled people, so that they can immediately contribute into the Social Security fund. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Burrell.
The Haitians were some people that I was mentioning before, but the discrimination against the Haitians can continue.
Yes.
You know, the Haitians could at least have helped us out in agriculture, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? By then, but when I mentioned that some years ago,
30
they would already have
15
some
seconds,
already.
caller. 15 seconds, please.
They would already had some children already, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Adoption is moving from here to there, but if we had influx 5 to 10,000 Haitians or other people, they would already done multiplied on the ground in St. Kitts Nevis. And I'll leave it there, man.
Okay, thanks a lot,
Thanks to Prime
caller.
Minister, for his agitation to get the private persons and the private entities, involved
Wonderful.
in partnerships.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good day. Let's go to this caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Island Tea. You're live on WinFM
I've
98.9.
been coming a frequent now, but
Ah,
anyway,
that is okay.
I got something on my mind. I've been thinking, we just had Labor Day gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Labor Day is supposed to be for the workers.
Correct.
However, it's considered political. One of the things I would like to see in my St. Kitts Nevis, people who work, for example, like in supermarkets, most of them, they work 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday.
Correct.
If you're an Adventist, you might be lucky and get off this Saturday, right? But to me, it's not fair for nobody to be working 6 days a week for the same pay. Because the last time I know, nobody seemed to get overtime. And once you work 40 hours a week, anything over 40, you're supposed to get overtime,
Correct.
right? And so I'm calling on the Labor Department because, like, over here, we got, like, union to represent you and stuff like that. So as I know, you ain't got a union. And they need to think because it's not fair. Some people, church going, they got to go church. You want Monday to Saturday. You only got one day to rest. You want to go church. You got to cook. You got to do all your chores. Something has to be done. We had a lot of past labor government ministers, and I ain't seen nothing. I had a job over here. I ain't got a job now. I had 2 days off, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday. Sometimes I used to work the whole weekend. However, if a holiday fall, if my dad fall on a holiday, I still getting pay. I mean, that was a good company. I should have stayed there. If I did not work, I still getting pay.
Yeah.
I know that ain't going to happen in St. Kitts. But the truth is, people need to get 2 days off, especially if you're working in a supermarket. Where you get time to do all of that. By the time Sunday done, you got to hustle back. They need to change up that, man.
So you're saying, caller, they should make it law?
What a caller said the other day, which made a lot of sense. Like saying, if you save $25 a week for over such and such a time, it could accumulate. But maybe the companies, because to me, it seems as though most of them so big corporate company, to me, they only care about making big profit and coming at the end of the year. I don't know if some of them have, like, so in the union, like the carpenters union here, they got something called an annuity. Another, like hospital worker security and so on, they have it called 401k. Can't they encourage the worker? Can't they set up something like that? At like the man say, you take a $25, because some you could take out a percentage, right? It's up to you. But, and that would help toward the retirement as opposed to waiting to get security at the end because that will be added income. But I think the Labor Department, I really don't even know what it'll be doing except to pass everyone's pay. But it should be more than that. The workers, they should be encouraged, like, to open some kind of thing. Because that would help. Because oftentimes people work 10 years, and when you look, you get fired. And sometimes you don't even get nothing. They don't even consider your time. You take up a tin of sardine because maybe the money just ain't cutting it, so you feel like you're here long enough, and then you get fired, and then you get plastered on a wall saying that you steal and so. So I believe the workers need a little better. I don't know what word to use, but
better conditions.
They need to be looked after, especially that Monday, because you realize now supermarket opening
7 days a week
later,
in some
Sunday
cases
round the clock, and even if you want to have them work on a shift basis too, because people need time to do their stuff. People need time to do it because when you have to miss a day now, if you work Monday to Saturday, right, where you get time to do anything, you have a doctor's appointment. Over here, maybe doctors don't work late like they might do over here. And so all of them things need to consider. But I think the workers, especially in them supermarkets and so, they're being cheated unfairly. People need 2 days off, and they need to look into that.
Well, before
because
you
the people working in the office, if they don't work on weekends, or if they do, they might work a half day. Why somebody got to be in a supermarket Monday to Saturday, and then only got Sunday, got to go to church, and then other things don't come in, because remember some of us still active.
Yeah,
so
but
you're going to be tired.
Before you go on, caller, my understanding, when it comes to the work and labor laws, the average work week is 40 hours per week, and that can be spread either over 5 days or 6 days. So, well, let's use the civil service.
No, 5/8 is 40.
Yes. So that means you get 2 days off. But in some cases, the 40 hours may be spread over 6 days. So
because maybe you work less hours.
Yes.
You might work a full 8 hours a day.
Exactly. And what I noticed, in some cases, the hour lunch is actually included, per se, because 40 hours during the week is really 8 to 5. 8 to 12, 4 hours. You go lunch from 12 to 1, and you come back from 1, you walk to 5. That's another 4 hours. So 40 hours during the week is an 8 to 5 working period. So,
well, Chai, I don't know, cause I work. I get 8 hours a day, a half an hour lunch, but I still get paid for 40 hours.
Okay, so
because you of course you got to get lunch, but I just think the people being disadvantaged. Nobody's supposed to work, even if you work in a hospital where you're highly paid as a nurse or whatever. You get 2 days off. Or some nurses, they will work a weekend and they're off one. And these people are highly paid. So why you just packing a shelf or checking out somebody?
Well, I could tell you this,
it
caller.
Don't make no sense. And people need to get 2 days
discussion
to get personal time to do what they have to do.
But again, I remind you, it's legal, it's international. The International Labour Organization, it's accepted that the 40 hours can be spread over 5 days, in which case you get 2 days off, or over 6 days, in which case you might get a day and a half off, etc. And right now, a lot of discussion happening. Hold on, caller. A lot of discussion is happening now.
Time to go doctor. I shouldn't have to take no time out my personal time.
Some companies have flexible off days.
They have to go to the doctor 2 days off.
Let's use the hotel industry. They work 7 days a week. So you'll get your 2 days off. It may not be Saturday, Sunday. It may be Monday, Tuesday. It may be Tuesday and Friday.
Thursday. Yeah, I know.
It might be split. So you'll have your chance to go doctor and do your cleaning and go to the bank and check the lawyer. But there's discussion happening right now to have the work day reduced to 4 days. So you actually get
12 hours.
Yeah, and so they are longer days, but you get 3 days off. Whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, accordingly. Yeah. But it's just that you have
to do something like that when they had COVID up here. But that was 12 hours and you have 3, right? But and another thing, Chai, when they're gonna introduce like thing, I had heard, I think Unity had said they were gonna introduce that where people work, so you get paid according to your hours work. You like a clock, where you put your fingerprint. So you clock in and you clock out. You clock in and you clock out.
That is being used in some establishments.
A lot of money like that, Because people don't really work full 40 hours. I could speak to it. I used to work down to a reason.
No, but
people don't work 40 hours.
No, it's 7 days. You work 7 days. You work 7 hours a day, which is 35.
Lunch, but they gone back up in Rams, go check curtains and this and that. People don't work 40 hours. Government losing a lot of money.
Workers are dishonest. It comes down to that.
But anyway,
and these workers are not everybody. Thank you very much, Carla, for your contribution. And this is a good time to go downtown and pay some bills. Let us have a break. Oh boy, it's already 17 minutes to 8:46, which is 16 minutes. So stick and stay, don't go away. We will be right back for more talk on Island Tea.
Found the South 98.9 winnfm.
Old fast, bright, smart, you're out now. This is your start. Big deal, nice wheels, just my ride. No wait, no hassle, just right. I saw it, I owned it, quick like that. National Bank, got me on track. Now I'm rolling free, no free spread. Keys in my hand, I feel blessed.
With Vroom, you pay $0 down. Get low rates and fast approval. Apply today at any National Bank branch or online at www.sknanb.com. Vroom, your used car loan from National Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your start.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? tune into On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Easter is a season of fresh starts, new plans, and moments worth celebrating. This year, crack open extra funds with a TDC Financial Services Easter loan with up to $50,000 available to help you do more this season. Whether you're planning Easter activities, taking care of home projects, traveling to see loved ones, or simply giving yourself some breathing room, TDC Financial Services is here to help. Enjoy affordable rates, fast approvals, and flexible repayment options, all designed to make borrowing easy and stress-free. So don't let your plans stay in the shell. Crack open extra funds with TDC Financial Services today. Apply at TDC Financial Services on Central Street in Bastyr, St. Kitts, or Main Street in Charlestown, Nevis. TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WinFM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on WinFM 98.9.
National Bank branch or online at www.sknanb.com. Vroom, your used car loan from National Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your start.
We're back live on Island T here on WinFM 98.9. Let us go to the line and say good morning to this caller. How are you, caller? Welcome to Island T.
Good morning, Troy. I am good.
Wonderful.
No, and you, how are you?
I am blessed, highly favored, and giving thanks. Thank you.
Amen. No, I am listening to y'all encouraging people to go have more. As we would say in our language, go breathe.
So you're going to join the club to caller?
Listen, Joy, I mean, let's be real. It's how hard life is. Life is so hard right now. You can barely manage to take care of yourself. People are working and you're just working to pay bills. Because where I live here in America, the week come and go by so fast.
Correct.
The month come and go by so fast. I just think just pay a bill. Here come the bill again. It's like the bill it's like they're booking up how fast the weeks and the months are going by. You're just working to pay bills. Why would you want to encourage anybody to go have kids in these hard, as you would say, guava crop time, when life is so difficult as it is? And then the thing about it is that in St. Kitts, they're encouraging people to go have more kids. And what are you encouraging? Single parents, because it's only the young people them who ain't got no husband, not but single women, single mothers.
Yes, indeed.
That's what you're encouraging. Who gonna take care of the child? Child care is expensive. I heard mackerel is $40 a pound home.
Well, the last time I checked, it was 32. 31.95 actually. Saltfish was 21.95. Mackerel was 31.95. The last time I checked, it might be 40 or more, but
imagine that choice.
Yeah.
Mackerel and thing was poor people food.
Exactly.
Dog food. People do it to feed it to the dog.
You used to beg them when you go shop. Give me a piece of mackerel or saltfish with your bread. And they just tear off a piece, give you saltfish, give you mackerel.
Listen, the type of Bible encourage nobody to get no children. Because then who gonna take care of the kids? The poor young girl is gonna be left to take care of a child all by herself.
Mm. Good point, caller.
Come on, let's be real. You just gotta keep it real. Encourage people to go breed, and then who's gonna take care? Remember us glamours, what they call us now, young grandmas. We ain't taking on. Everybody dealing with your burden. You burden on yourself with it. Young grandmothers today ain't taking care of body babies.
The grannies outside partying with the daughters.
Exactly.
So are you saying, Cleo?
Exactly.
Are you saying if the economic conditions were better, more favorable, you would have gone in the bull ring?
Me, I would have gone in the bull ring?
Yes, and be fruitful and multiply more.
Sorry, I'm going to be 60 this year, God's willing.
Serious, Cleo?
In what bull ring?
No, but you sound just like you're 30-something or 40-odd, Cleo.
If you see me, you think I'm 12.
That's what I mean, okay? The voice sounds so young and thing. So, wow.
60, God's willing, this year.
Tell the hussy. Tell the hussy he's doing an excellent job keeping you so youthful.
Yes, he is. And try to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, if I was at that age to have kids, I with what we see was doing, the way these children, I wouldn't want no, not one. No, not one. Generation of vipers. No, not one.
Mm-hmm.
Look me, sometimes I sit back and I say, I thank God for the time I was born in.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God for the time I was born in, because we had nothing, but we were happy and contented. These children today, they have everything, and they're still vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God for the... I would not. If I could have had more kids now, I still wouldn't want not one. No, thank you.
Okay,
so don't encourage people to get their kids young to go be single mothers. But that's all we encourage in anything. Single mothers. If you encourage them to go be, you're telling them go be single mothers. That's not right. Don't do it. And they stay in the time anyway. Don't we see God is on his way back? The Bible says, woe be unto mothers who are giving breast, who are giving suck when God returns. You don't want to run and you're a baby stop to you can't run. Listen, have a good day.
Same to you, Cleo. Thank you for listening and thank you for calling, my dear. Have a good day yourself.
You're welcome.
Cleo said, well, boy, she wouldn't go in the bull ring even if she was 20, 25 because of the economic condition. But that is a good point. And that is the feedback I'm getting with people. Why before you could encourage people to go and get children and things are hard. People can't even survive now with the 1 and 2 picnic. How they going to survive with 3 or 4 more? But the point that Cleo made about the single parenting, that is a serious problem. And I know schools right now, they are encouraging father-children Father Sunday to get the fathers to come out to participate in activities in the school, not primarily. And example, let me put it that way, PTA, parent-teachers meetings, getting the fathers come. Because 2 things happen at PTAs. The mothers are coming, and the mothers of the family, or the parents of the family you really want to come to PTA, they are not coming. The parents of the more generally well-behaved students or better-behaved students, they are the ones coming to PTA meetings, and not those who you really want to come. Good morning, caller. You're live. Oh, we lost that caller. Let's take this one. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. Welcome.
Grand rising, brother Mills, and grand rising to your family of Island T with the love of the ancestors and the Almighty.
Thank you, Ras.
Blessed God. I just listening to your program, and it's very interesting to see you touch on the initial of the workers there. We're not calling it labor, they make the workers there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it's time now we come from this whole political garbage that we see implying on our people for over the years and start bringing the proper emphasis. I call not too long talk about the labor department and how the initiative towards when it comes to the workers' protection and their rights and all the aspects of how the week salary and all those things calculate. Well, when we look at it, the labor department is very disturbing when it comes to the rights of the workers then. And we need to start using these initiatives to educate our people, because that's what I work for nobody, you know, and I see us on that. Because when I don't work around see my money and me where how I supposed to be treated properly as a worker and a citizen of the Federation of Sinkers and Nevis. You see, that's why I can say the hustling move, because nobody can tell me what to do and how to move. Generally, no disrespect.
How would you call it?
Time now. We need to start doing the thing properly where it is in the grounds of, as they say, legislation, action that protect our workers and the rights. And if we don't do that, these old thieving companies that we have in our federation already do what they're doing, exploiting the workers. Even to what we see now, where we formulate as Social Security, what you just outlined about the Prime Minister outlining, indicating that he wants to see more people get in producing more youths. I would like to tell the Prime Minister, not disrespect my brethren, with all this money that Social Security had value within, and they have seen and passed through, and now they have been squandered. Where is the format of those people who have squandered the money? Are they going to jail? Or we are just, I think, having people doing these things, damaging Social Security character? We need to stand better than this. This is not no time to talk about party politics and putting what you want to favor. It's time to bring things that need to generally develop thinkers and needs, and not for personal gain, but for the benefactors of our generation coming. And if you're not ready for that, I don't know where you are going for it, because these are the things I are working for the mantra to maintain the forebearers and went through on the colonial status. And we're still looking like we want to follow that same garbage that our gangsters them given to our people. It's time now we are awake and bring better changes to our people who are serious about development of Sinkers and Nevis and the wider part of the region. We thank Brother Mills, and I would like to say, the holiday that is falling on the 25th, that will incorporate within African Liberation Day. That African Liberation Day, the 25th of May, 1963, was engaged on 33 nations come together to charter institution to guide the African continent from the exploitation and colonialism and neo-colonialism, and we're seeing these things are weeping up their head because our African brothers and sisters are not united still. But we are still fighting for that unity to bring forth change in African people, home and abroad. You have a blessed day, Brother Mills. May the love of the Almighty and the ancestors guide you all.
Thank you very much, Russ. Thank you for listening and calling and making your contribution. And very strong points there. Is from what I know, we have one union here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Two, I think. There's the Teachers Union, the St. Kitts and Nevis Trades and Labor Union. There have been allegations. Persons have expressed the view that when the Labour Party is in government, the Labour Union, and let me repeat that, persons have expressed the view, I've heard them, they've told me that in their opinion, the allegations, they feel, they believe, whatever you want to call it, when the Labour Party is in power, the Labour Union, it isn't as, what's what I'm looking for, active, forceful as they ought to be, or when the Labour Party is not in power. They're more aggressive. That is. Good morning, caller. Welcome to WinFM 98.9. You're live. That was, and which is unfortunate. And yes, we know. I'm remembering my history in school that I think all of the labor parties in the Caribbean came out of the trades and labor union. The leaders, they were the politicians, they were leaders in the trades and labor union representing the people, and then they took that step forward to get into politics. So there's always that tie between the labor union and the politics. And we'll get back to that as we say good morning to this caller. Welcome to Island T Caller. You're live.
Yes, good morning, Bill.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning and blessed in Jesus' name and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell, by the gospel only, through faith only, according to the Bible only, in Jesus only. Now, yesterday when we spoke on voices, and you remember I told you that it's not, government should not, and I wish enforce it even more, ought not to be setting price controls. And we had a discussion on it.
Greg, can I, forgive me for jumping in, but that something I'm wondering if it wouldn't be suited better if we don't really mix topics from Voices and Island Tea. Yes, I'm the host. They're two separate programs, really. And I'll remind you and the listeners that Island Tea, it's really, in case you didn't listen to the news last night, yesterday, for the last 2-3 days, and you want to wonder what's happening locally, regionally, and internationally, we bring those news items to you, and discussions ensue around them. For example, I mentioned that, and you were the one, I think, you called in about the deplorable state of the Cardin home last week before, and I commend you for that. And the Prime Minister, he has responded by saying that work is going to be done, and that's the first item I read this morning. Work is going to be done at the Cardin home, and the prisoners from His Majesty Prison, they are going to be the ones who, what was the word there? Responsible for the maintenance. So there's some degree of prominence. So I thank you for bringing that to the public. And it's unfortunate that things have to come to the media, come on these talk shows, before we get action from the government. And not just this government, governments in the past as well. It's unfortunate.
You see the reason why I brought up the price control issue, because it is in the news as to what the government is going to do. So I didn't just bring it up, I bring it up because it is in the news.
Okay, I'll yield.
Local news.
I'll yield to that, Greg. I'll yield to that. But we don't want topics continuing. But go ahead.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
But
I
that's
follow
the reason
you.
why I brought it up, because
Yes.
it's a local news issue.
Mm.
Yes. So what I am saying is that the reason why I said that is because above all else, it goes against the Bible as to what the Bible said the government duties are. And when we go against the Bible, we only bring destruction, ruin as the result. Same thing I would say with the card, because I also had that also as well. We're taking care of people and those sort of stuff, which are in the news, the card in home, for example. All of those goes against the Bible duties.
Hold on.
In its pages for government.
Hold on. I'm a little unclear. Do you mind shedding more light on that?
Yes.
That went a little above me.
Yes, because when you look at Romans chapter 13, okay, it tells you the duties of government is to approve of those that do good, as the Bible says should be done, in the way it should be done, and also to punish those who do evil.
Okay.
As it should be done according to the Bible. And 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6 says, do not go beyond what is written in the Bible. So if the Bible said this is your purpose, your God-given purpose, 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6 says, do not go beyond that.
So how do you tie in that with
in the Bible?
How do you tie in that with? I'm not seeing the connection with tying in that what you've just said with the government and the Cardin home.
Yeah, because when government do these things which goes against the Bible, you're going to actually end up making things worse.
So
because like I said,
hold on, are you saying, Greg, that when the government have an institution for the elderly folks,
Right.
who their family, whether they cannot or they do not take care of the elderly, provide that institution for them to enjoy the last days of their lives, so to speak, living in comfort and what have you. Are you saying the government is wrong to do that?
Yes, because it goes against its biblical
So what should become of them then? If I'm not going to be taking care of my parents, what should happen to them?
You're right. What should be done is this. Because my understanding is that the Cardian Home, if I'm correct, started as a private institution or to charity, and then government later on took it over, if my understanding is correct.
Okay,
and what because I think it started by a man named Mr. Cardian.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what should be done is this. Government stay within its biblical given bounds. As a result...
So what will become of these people, Greg, if the government don't have this institution?
Well, for example, like I said, the Cardian Home started privately.
Okay, yes.
So what I'm saying is this. If government was to stay in its biblical bounds, okay, therefore it would no need to charge these ton-load of taxes, also have the economy to be open to a free market capitalist economy, and that would result in more people having much more money in their pocket. The dollar could purchase more than what it could purchase now. And so, therefore, more funds would be going into charitable works, including taking care of people and all sort of stuff. Because right now we have private institutions taking care of people. But if things was a lot cheap, if things was a lot less expensive, because people have more money in the pockets as a result, more people would have been able to afford that kind of care. And not only that, you would have more businesses on the scene, and businesses would have been sponsoring these things.
I am not following you, Greg.
Sponsoring these things.
I'm hearing you. I'm not following you. I'm not seeing to your thinking, your logic, because the current situation, we have how many businesses in St. Kitts, and whether we like it or not, all entities, all organizations, when they need that financial support, they are going to be going to these businesses. Schools are going to them. Churches going to them. Businesses are going to them. And then we go down in Sandy Point. We have boys' scouts. They're going to them. The girls' scouts going. I have a sports club. I'm going to them. You have a sports club. You're going to them. So they obviously, the pie they have for charitable work is only so much. And because more people come in, they're not going to say, let's increase that from 200,000 to 300,000. As a matter of fact, they might tell you, why we're going to cut from 200,000 to 150,000. So people having more money in their pocket, in theory, Greg, I believe, yes, in theory, they will have more liquid cash. They'll have more cash to do things. It doesn't necessarily mean they'll turn it into charity.
Well, I've read years back that it shows you that the more money people have in their pocket, the more go to charity. But you see, in today's scenario, you see, what you're describing is not in the context I'm describing. What you are describing is in the sad context of today.
But that's the reality, Greg. But that's the reality. It's sad, but that's the reality. Isn't it?
But also, the reality is as well. The reality is that the less money government is taxing people and taking from out their pocket. The reality also is that people use that money more for all kind of things, including for charity. And I'm saying that when you have a very competitive, because in today's reality, because of the high taxation and that sort of stuff, a lot of businesses, you may not know it, but I know it, a lot of businesses are going out of business. There's a lot of businesses that are barely surviving.
I agree with that.
So when you have that in your economy, of course, far less money is going to go to charity, which is the situation we're in right now. Turn around the situation where a whole lot less taxation, and I don't say biblical is really, taxation is supposed to be really voluntary, which is the way I would go.
And I don't share that view. I share a different view on that.
But at the very least, it's the biblical view. But at the very least,
Sorry, Greg. Hold on. Let me seek some clarification. Remind me again with the Bible and taxation, please. When I say me, the listeners as well.
I understand what you mean. No, in the Bible, if something does not have a civil penalty to it, like, for example, stealing, the biblical civil penalty for that is recompensing the person, making restitution. Your murder, your rape, kidnap, the biblical civil penalty for that is death, execution publicly, that sort of stuff.
But we're talking about the tax part.
But when you find something that does in the Bible that does not have a civil penalty attached to it, that means it is voluntary. It is between you and God. So it is voluntary because it doesn't have a civil penalty attached to it, and the Bible says, "Do not go beyond what is written."
So we shouldn't be paying taxes. That's what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is that we should be paying taxes, especially when the government is operating according to the word of God. But that is not for the government to punish if you don't. That is between you and God.
Is paying taxes a punishment? That's what you're saying, Greg?
No, I'm not saying that. Well, it depends. It all depends. Because right now it's a punishment. The high level of it right now is really a punishment more than anything.
Why do you say it's a punishment? Because why do you say it's a punishment? If the government needs $10 million to help it building roads for you and I to travel on, ensuring the water supply and the electricity supply is there for we could wake up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, watch television or whatever, do computer work, what have you. And they are doing that to collect revenues for these social products, social services. How is that a penalty? A punishment, rather?
Well, number one. It becomes a punishment because, number one, based on the pages of the Bible, this is not part of the these things you think are not part of the government duties in the pages of the Bible. These are for the private sector to do. So when the government do this, they have to charge a load of tax, and that is the penalty you pay for the government disobeying the Bible and for we supporting that as well.
So where the government will get the money to pay the teachers and the nurses and civil servants?
Based upon the Bible, those supposed to be the private sector's duty, not government. Government is only supposed to, based on the Bible, government is only supposed to praise those who do good.
And how are they going to do that?
Those who do evil.
So where the government will get the money from to even pay themselves the salary, Greg? Where are they going to get that money from?
Well, such a government would be very, very small. That kind of government would not need much money to operate on.
What is very small?
To limit yourself to those biblical things, you would not need much money to
well, we have to go to a break, Greg. I'm not certain you. I'm not following you really. I'm not quite understanding it. Yeah. And I'm remembering in the Bible, when the Pharisees, I think, they asked Christ something to the effect about paying taxes, and he said, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's," or something to that effect.
Right.
And so in the Bible, wasn't he saying, well, hey, if there's a tax that you have to pay, you pay the tax? That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, but what did God say is supposed to be the civil penalty for not paying your taxes?
I'm not too...
He didn't give any.
Uh-huh.
So what the Bible is saying, is that, yes, you pay your taxes, especially government is really obeying the Bible. Yes, you pay your taxes, but at the same time, God didn't give the government to apply this or that civil penalty to people who don't pay their taxes. That is something that God left between him and the person, and he will punish that person in whatever way he sees fit. But God also promised, once you obey his word, don't worry, God gonna provide. And we see Greg, over and over again.
I am not doing a good job of following you, and I often wonder, well, why haven't you become a politician? Why haven't you gone into the priesthood with the knowledge? But we have to go to a break. I thank you for that. And I think I'm a little more confused than before, really. But perhaps it's because of my ignorance. And it's like saying yesterday when you said that, what is it you say? Price control is bad. and price control is going to bring about
Because
hardship.
and I said today, straight up today, it goes against the Bible, and that's why it is
Okay,
there.
okay, Greg. Well, I'm certain. I suspect a few of the listeners might very well be confused, and but thank you nonetheless. Thank you nonetheless for calling in and sharing your view. And interesting.
We go against the Bible, we lose.
Yes. Before you go, Greg.
Thank you.
Before you go, slip away. And my apologies for keeping you back. The Prime Minister, in his appeal to be fruitful and multiply, because we want to have more people working, more people contributing to social security to ensure its longevity and sustenance. And well, I don't know much about you, and I'm not trying to get into your private life. But what do you think about that? I said it looks like I have to come out. It looks like I have to come out of retirement to be a part of that program. What about you?
Well, okay, number one, we are dealing with a lot of hypocrisy where the government is concerned, because my understanding is that abortion is very rampant in this place, and abortion, I think, is one of the biggest contributors, if not the biggest contributors, for us not having the growing population that we ought to have. It is the government duty to execute those who commit abortion. And government not doing about it, as a matter of fact, the government is encouraging it, and I think that is one of the biggest factors why our population is not growing as we are to.
But why should they execute if it is
discouraging people as well? Hello?
Okay, I'll probably have to do some research before I ask you. Okay, Greg, thanks a lot. We have to go to a break, and I appreciate the fact you're listening and calling in.
And by the way, abortion is murder. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day, Greg. And let us go to a break, and we will be right back in a few. And we might not necessarily agree with Greg's views, but one thing I could tell you, he's extremely passionate about said views, and I must compliment him. Let us go to a break. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Old fast, bright, smart, you're up now. This is your start. Big deal, nice wheels, just my ride. No wait, no hassle, just right. I saw it, I owned it, quick like that. National band, got me on track. Now I'm rolling free, no free spread. Keys in my hand, I feel blessed.
With Vroom, you pay $0 down. Get low rates and fast approval. Apply today at any National Bank branch or online at www.sknanb.com. Vroom, your used car loan from National Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your start.
Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday and every other Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Heritage Matters on Win Media SKN 98.9. Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you.
Welcome back to Island Tea here on WinFM 98.9. Boy, time really flies, you know. Once ago, 2 hours used to be a long time. 2 hours supposed to be, 120 minutes, but it seems like 2 hours these days is about 90 minutes. We have a caller. Good morning. Welcome to Island Tea. You're live on WinFM 98.9.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I am blessed, highly favored, and giving thanks. What about you?
I'm fine. Thank
Wonderful.
God for another day.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I want to say, right? When my family in the morning, what I want to say, you make a good point this morning. What I want to say, right? Election is in the ear. And the Dublin Hell High friend, eh? And I want to keep it peaceful. Because Labour going to get the people, PLP and PAM. right? And then they're talking about join up and Pam mustn't join with PLP and PLP mustn't join with Pam, whatever. But and they say, look, Labour Party is the only party never joined. But I remember here somebody need to correct me. Election had come for Pam and Labour. And I think Labour had went to join our Nevis.
They
and
did.
He never did too. Eh?
Yes, they did. However, Labour had a coalition government with NRP. So they did join with NRP.
Joined?
Yes. The Honorable Patrice Nisbet, he was the Attorney General. And there was that coalition with the Labour and NRP. I can't remember the period. I can't remember the year.
I think they had come for you know, and I think
That
Pam
was-
went to join. No.
That was
And
93.
then Pam-
That was
93.
93. Yes, you're correct. There was a 4-4. Labour
Yes,
got
when
4.
they had to go back, when they had to go back to the poll, Labour didn't get through, and they had to go back to the
Well,
poll. And
no,
I think that
hold
Labour
on.
to come.
I don't think they went back to the poll because of that. What I'm remembering, that was in the 93 elections. Pam won 4 seats, Labour won 4 seats. Both parties, CCM won 2 seats, NRP won 1 seat, I think it was. Both parties went to Nevis to speak to CCM about forming a coalition. And I'm subject to correction, but this is what I'm remembering. And the late Vance Amry, Honorable Vance Amry, at that point, he campaigned on neutrality, staying neutral, not joining with anyone. So when both parties went to him, when Labour spoke to him, he said, why I stay neutral, you know, I ain't joining with nobody. When Pam spoke to him, he said the same thing. So Pam then formed a coalition with NRP, I think it was, and they had 5 seats. So they formed a minority government. Labour was 4 seats, CCM was 2 seats. So though you had 6 seats in opposition, it was 4 plus 2. They weren't together as in a united front. Because
That's in the year when they had when Simmons had to call back the election and Labour went all in. That's not the same year.
no, after 93, the next election was 95. Remember when they had this burning down in the prison situation and St. Kitts, the opposition, the then opposition referred to St. Kitts as Devil's Island during that period.
My bad.
Okay, I understand.
Well, anyway, election is in the year.
Correct.
PLP gonna get the people, Labour gonna get the people, and Pam gonna get the people who want to join, and who don't want to join, don't join. But to me now, they look up, they're making Pam now look, oh, Pam must do this and Pam must do that. I don't know what Timothy do Pam. If Timothy do Pam anything, I never hear nobody point it out and say this is what he do. But we who are Pam, what we are waiting on is when the 2-term end, and I think what they were supposed to do, wait until the 2-term end and we take it from there. Don't jump the gun and when don't blame him because the only how I will blame him if he 2-term come and he don't want to come out. You understand? We were supposed to wait because teeth and tongue does not. And you know, after a time they'll be calm. People were talking to him and tell them no go back and you get it started out. They went and they call a motion of no confidence and they lose the election. And then some people decide where they don't like what they do and they go in the separate ways. You understand? I'm hold it down because nobody know, you know. Nobody know how this election going to swing, because a young little girl met me there and I say, how come you haven't go march? She said, me not go march because only Timothy look after the young people. Them.
The march has nothing to do with Timothy. The march has nothing to do with Pam. The march has nothing to do with Labour. The Labour Party.
And I tell them they used to big up in it, look right up in it.
Yes,
up and,
which is unfortunate that the politicians, and I say this unapologetically, it's most unfortunate that the politicians, they have taken hold of the Labour Day March and turned it into a political event. And that's not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, I might add. That's all over the Caribbean. Exactly. It is not right. It's not proper. And we the people, we the workers, really, we should stop that. We should say, okay, you want to have your political march on Labour Day? You go ahead. We're going to organize we Labour, we workers' rights, workers' march.
Since I know myself a little girl growing up coming from a Labour home, Politics, a little bit of politics were in it because I remember they used to sing a song, say, run away, Billy Hobart, run away, and if you don't run away, we're going to chase you an election day. When they reach up Central Street by Billy Hobart, that's where the drama used to be. They look like crazy. I was used to be growing up, a little girl, so a little bit was in it. So
You're correct.
In it,
but
yeah?
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And perhaps workers, the workers, you and I, forget politics. And I made the point this morning that TDC, they are well within their rights to say, hey, workers from TDC, let us go to march to support solidarity of workers all around the country and all around the world. So let us wear, you have a blue TDC t-shirt or a white TDC t-shirt. Let's wear that if you don't want to wear the full uniform. Same thing with Rams.
Somebody say, come up with your people and PLP. I could go in back at the march and everybody enjoy it.
But that's still politicizing it. That's still politicizing. That's still politicizing it.
What I'm saying, if they don't say it's a political thing, well, just join it. If you can't beat it,
but then
come up with your people.
Are any efforts being made to beat it? Everybody's just falling in line on the status quo. I know, for example, the Honorable Sean Richards. He used to be marching with Labour Day, so he is up front with the Labour ministers, and he's marching because he's not marching as a member of Parliament, a MP. He's marching as water.
And it ain't going to change. It ain't going to change. We're going to talk and say, well, we'll have body march. It not going to change. It ain't going to change.
I hear, caller. Hold a sec. Don't go yet, please.
This thing when I say with parties, both parties say all politicians come up. Well, he was a politician, and maybe parties went way back and come forward because remember he was a Labour, so maybe he's talking from experience. So we need to let that alone. It is what it is. The devil is a nice man, and let me keep it peaceful, man.
But before you go, caller, before you go.
Politics party going to change, but think it's Nevis name ain't going to change. We all are one still, okay?
Yes, but before you go, please, caller, I have a way of saying, if something has happened, there's a situation, and we don't do anything to change the situation, 50 years from now, so example, in the year 2076, God's Spear, we are going to be where we are today because we don't do anything, we have not been doing anything to change. The longest journey, according to a Chinese proverb, the longest journey begins with the first step. So you have to have the first step before you could do that. And over a period of time, I believe these marches could really be about the workers, but it takes somebody to start doing it. But going back to a point you made about Timothy Harris, etc., my understanding is, from what I'm remembering, the agreement between the then government was the Honorable Timothy Harris, who will be Prime Minister for 2 terms, and then the Honorable Sean Richards, and then the Honorable Mark Brantley. So they were assuming that Unity would have won for 6 elections. From what I'm remembering, the Honorable Sean Richards, he said, well, hey, I'm going to support that. And when the Honorable Timothy Harris won the 2nd term, he was the only member of the Unity arrangement to go and support him, because I think the other ministers were saying, hey, let us withdraw our support from Timothy. You be the Prime Minister, Sean. And Sean said, why not? I gave my word, so I'm going to stick to that. However, down the line, 2 years after, and this is what I'm remembering hearing the Honorable Sean Richards say, they started seeing signs, even in the 1st term, of things they were not happy with. And it came to the point that they indicated, well, hey, we are going to withdraw our support from the Honorable Timothy Harris as the Prime Minister. And they wrote to the Governor General that we are going to support the Honorable Sean Richards as Prime Minister. But then, the then Prime Minister Timothy Harris, the Honorable Timothy Harris, he fired them. He fired the 6 of them. And then dissolved Parliament, and they had elections. So they were trying to...
That is why they should have come out and let people know what's going on, because I could call a lady named Dumping. She said she keep asking what's going on. And he said, everything okay? You were supposed to get to your people them and let them know what's going on in there. Not leave people up, everybody up and down. Get what's going on. I mean, you come back to your people them before you do what you had to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you speak to your people. But remember when there's a situation, and it happens even in a relationship, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, things are very good and nice and dandy and rosy, but things start to go sour, things start to go south for whatever reason, whoever is responsible, And there's a period that you try to work it out. Sweetheart, I love you. Let's get back together. Let's work on it and and think. But then it doesn't happen. So it reaches the point that say, hey, let's get divorced. They say we ain't going away, so let's end it. And that is what happened. And you will recall that the Honorable Prime Minister then, Timothy Harris, when he referred to Sean as Mumu Sean several times, I don't believe that's a language that should be coming from politicians. I don't believe in this abusing thing, Politicians abusing people. I do not believe in it. I do not believe in it. And I remember a candidate, I thought the candidate sometime back in the election, from what I knew of him, I said, well, yeah, he's a good name, a good candidate. Though he wasn't on the ticket of the party I support. And next thing, after the second meeting, he started calling the candidate he going to run against Momo and all kind of name. I woke up, why no? I withdraw that. But I don't believe in this calling, because perhaps that is why we have so much problem with our young people. The children here, the politicians, the government ministers, abusing one another. And why not? If they could do that, why can't I? And that's just my view. But
Labour ain't going to join. Labour ain't going to join, but somewhere along the line, I don't know how Tipam and PLP going to go, but I don't know. I don't want nobody chop off my neck, but people just keep it peaceful.
I agree with you.
Change, but saying it's Nevis, we still remain the same.
Exactly.
The naming going to change. Keep the election peaceful. Somebody going to win, somebody going to lose. I don't stress out yourself, okay, because we don't know how this election going to go. The devil in hell high friend, you know. Don't care how you got people behind you,
Good
people
point,
talk
caller.
about Timothy, they talk about Joe, they talk about Douglas, and Douglas, high people, high people.
Satan has followers. I normally say two things. Satan has followers, and we chose Barabbas over Christ.
The devil have his friend, but this labor they march, it is what it is, because when I was a little girl growing up between my grandparents, them, we used to in the march, and we used to say, when I was Billy Hobart, and up to now, he ain't going to change.
Okay, caller.
This is what it is. I went go march, I jump up, I dance, me and my labor friend, and it was good.
All right, caller. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
All right.
Have a good day. Thanks for listening, and thanks for calling. Very interesting views by that caller. We take this another call. Good morning, caller. You're live on WinFM 98.9 Island T. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I don't agree that nothing will change when it comes to that match. I mean, certainly the Labour Party can't look at that match, compare it with what used to be, and feel good about it. I either feel ashamed, to be quite honest. Right?
Why?
And so,
why you feel ashamed?
If I were the Labour Party, I would feel ashamed to know that what used to be a really large turnout of workers have ended up being like this, have descended into this.
Could it be because the workers themselves realize that it has taken a political slant and they are disassociating themselves with that, as a sign of protest, for want of a better example?
That could be it. But regardless, I don't think the message has quite gotten through yet that something needs to change. Okay? Every year you have these dwindling numbers, and you'd think that the politicians would sit up and take notice and say, hey, we're doing something wrong here.
Good point. Good, excellent point. But I'm seeing an article that says thousands attended the match. Thousands participate in Labour the March.
How accurate do you think that was?
Well, there's another swing to that. As of recent years, 10 years, I can't remember, a band has been introduced to the march for jamming. So would someone be correct if they say, yes, there were thousands, but 2,000-3,000 went to the jamming? So if you subtract that from the thousands, you end up with 100, 150, 200, 300, 800, I don't know.
This is just propaganda, okay? And they know it. I don't know why they insist on doing things like that to create this false narrative that, the match was big. Everybody knows
May I read the first statement in an article dated May the 5th, and it's posted on the website of another radio station. Thousands participated through the streets of Bastille on Monday, that's Monday last Labor Day, commemorating Labor Day and the long struggle for workers' rights in St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am betting, Troy, that they took that headliner from last year's march and the march before that and the march before that. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's just deception. It's deception, and to me, it's a cynical approach to things, where you know what was, you know what is, but you refuse to accept the reality. Okay, that's what I think this is.
But why should they change if every year you and I are supporting them? Why should they change? It is working.
Is it?
Why fix something that is not working?
If it was working, don't you think they would have had many more people joining in?
That could be a point.
And the thing is, I mean, what you suggested about, let's say, TDC telling the workers go join the march and
not telling the workers, let us go, because the leadership being a part of it, I believe, would encourage the workers to come.
Say again, how that would work?
It's not a case of you all go on march, let us go. So the chairman of the board, the board of directors, the leadership, the hierarchy of the company say, let us go. We are going to go. All of us are going to go. So it's not you go.
The first thing is, right, that is going to be met with a lot of skepticism from the current organizers. Because generally, they demonize the leadership of the private sector.
Okay.
Right? And in any case, remember the private sector have their own organization, and they look after their interests, right? Somebody needs to look after the workers' interests.
Which is where the trades and the unions come in.
Although we often talk about the tripartite system where you have employers, unions, and government, to the Labor Department and so on, coming together to as the ILO put it, to benefit workers. In actuality, the private sector, through, let's say, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, they look after the interests of the business, the owners and the shareholders of the business. The government, they try to essentially use matches and so on to say, well, we did this for workers mainly as a way of maintaining themselves in power. That is their prime interest. Not so much the workers, but maintaining with the next election. And that leaves the union, okay, which really should be in the vanguard of all of this, but is not strong enough, don't get enough support from ordinary workers to make their voices heard and make an impact. Okay? And that is why I think I understand why some people are saying it's not going to change, it's not going to get any better. But I maintain that when you see things dwindling like this, that in itself is an impetus for change, because nobody wants to be looking like stragglers going along the street, right? I mean, the mere fact that you have to get a band
to bring out people, to multiply the crowd.
That's an embarrassment.
And then you incorporate it as part of the thousands who would have come out to match.
That is an embarrassment, and I don't know who they think they're fooling when they do that.
but
anyway.
But Mr. McMahon, do you think if I don't know if the Chamber of Industry and Commerce might be a part of that, but the workers, they speak among themselves, the corporate community, let me put it that, small, big, medium, say, hey guys, they have a meeting. Let us really go out to march on this Labor Day, the Workers' Day, for solidarity, for true solidarity of workers. Do you think if they come together and organize that, do you think if they apply for permission, they will be given permission?
Private sector?
Yes, the private sector. If they decide, well, hey.
Oh, yes. If they, of course, they would give them, because around here that the private sector wield a lot of influence. Government ain't going to say no to them at all, right? Which, I find pretty unfortunate, because generally speaking, government is supposed to look after those with less power.
How much support you think they'll get from the private sector? The private sector organizing it, how much support you'll think they will get from themselves?
You mean from their workers?
Yes, and their workers and their companies.
Well, that would be interesting. It would be an interesting experiment, because, as you know, workers in private sector organizations have grievances as well, right? And I don't know how they might take to who they regard as the persons responsible for their grievances, telling them to do something that they don't have to do in the first place, right? And how would you feel if somebody goes in the match and say, I'm just being paid such and such and such, and essentially criticize their employer? That you could see the problem there.
Yeah.
Right. But really and truly, it would be nice if it's done on a tripartite basis, and take the politics, because I think it's the politics that is pulling it down more than anything else. But something that was said earlier, I think by Greg, where Greg comes from essentially is that there should be smaller government. Right? You made a point about the appeal for the Cardin home. Honestly, I believe it should not. They should not resort to that. It should not come down to that. An appeal by government for more private sector involvement. Because charity by definition involves you stepping up to the plate to do these kinds of things. Government has a responsibility, and to me, it's shirking the responsibility when you do these kinds of appeals, because we all know government have a lot of money. What they don't do is prioritize how they use that money. We can always criticize how they use that money, and we would argue that one of the duties of government is to make sure that the disadvantaged in our society are looked after, whether it be the very young or the very old, and don't shirk that responsibility. I remember, for instance, there was this appeal, and we normally have them where schools going to be asking people to donate photocopiers and those kind of little paraphernalia. They shouldn't have to. This should be part, if government is providing that service for the young people, they should make sure it is funded, right? Anything that comes after should be icing, charitable donations should be icing on the cake.
Far and few in between.
Do your job. Do you make the right priorities, and make sure that schools and so on are properly resourced. Make sure that the elderly homes are in a satisfactory condition. You should not have to appeal to that. In my actually, again, I find that an embarrassment, right?
30 seconds, please, caller.
Yeah, right. That's all I'd say.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Very interesting. And we've been having some activity, I should say, on our YouTube feed. One subscriber says, where would we bring people from, Burl? When Burl was saying bringing people, the 10,000 people. And we have to look at where we will house them, feed them, and provide jobs with longevity for them. And then how will we supply, them on the healthcare system? And those two comments were from the same person. And should I call the name? And why not? They're from Cartensia. Thanks for listening, Cartensia. And Burl responding, good point by Cleo. Kids are expensive. We need jobs for the youth. And that was when Clear was saying that they getting children in this guava crop. And Ball is responding to Cartencia. We bring them from anywhere. Nurses come from Ghana, but we rejected the Haitians. Maybe 200 Guyanese. And we had Guyanese here. They cane cutters. And this is Ball again. Well, guess what? The politicians are calling for an increase in population, but they didn't make the preparation with that CBI money. But that's a good point. Calling for an increase in population. Do we have the infrastructure in place? Do we have the necessary resources to do that? Because that will mean more housing, more water, more electricity. And speaking about water, the desalination plant, I haven't been hearing much about it. I will have to find out what's going on. And Ball, well, guess what? The politicians are calling but didn't make that. And then the infrastructure could have been built out already to accommodate politicians, to accommodate a population increase, but they mismanaged the money. We should be in tip-top shape. And then we have Ball. So Greg is suggesting putting the Carding home back to a private entity. Somebody, Pedro, somebody real talk. And then this is a different person contributing. To be honest, as a small business owner, I support the idea of a smaller government. Government as in, and that's something I didn't clarify, government as in government ministers, because we have, at the moment, just 6, and we have senators. And I'm going to come to this caller in a second. Please, caller, let us pay tribute to the persons who are contributing. We don't see and this is the same person, continue. We don't see the benefits of all these taxes. Only the politically connected benefit from kickbacks and corruption. And then same person goes on, that's a double. We should still pay taxes, but we need more accountability from the government. Too much money goes to waste. And another person, first time he's in this thread, passed legislation to destroy all unions. I have to find out about that. I'm not too certain what that is all about. But let us go to this caller. Good morning, caller. Thank you for holding your live on Island T. Welcome.
Yes, good morning again.
Oh, good morning.
No, I agree with Mr. McMahon last statement, what he was talking about with asking for schools, asking for the public to donate things that the government should supply the schools. But I have a question, because Greg always calls and says government shouldn't do this, government shouldn't do that. It should be the private sector doing this and doing that. My question is, what are Greg doing to alleviate the strain of the government? Because since government, he don't want government to take care of this and take care of that. Have he put himself on a project, take up the strain and say, okay, I'm going to financially support this? That's what I would like to know.
Okay, caller, thank you very much, Cleo. That's a very good question, and I'm not certain. And leading from the front, that is something that, how many of us do that? But I understand what Cleo is saying. It's easy for Biff to bang him out and say this and say that and criticize. But what is Biff doing to contribute, provide a solution? It may not be a 100%, but at least it's an effort. And by Biff doing something, somebody, some friend, or even some foe, somebody who doesn't like me, or whatever the case is, might say, but hold on. What Biff doing there, that's a good thing, you know. I think I should do that. And that maybe inspire that person and other persons to do that. So that's a very good point, leading from the front. And I made that comment before, but that was in reference to the PM saying, be fruitful and multiply, where some persons are saying he needs to lead from the front. But if you sit back and look at it, I am encouraging you to do something, but I'm not doing it. What light does that put me in? And a previous caller, I was to mention it, about the politics and the coming. The People's Labour Party, they opened their constituency number 2 office a few days ago across Central Street there, where the old Simaco is, from my understanding. And it's not only the constituency number 2 headquarters. It's the national headquarters for the People's Labour Party. Ouch, we have the lights lining up. Good morning, caller. We lost that one. Let's take this one. Good morning, caller. We lost that one to Biff, to Slow Biff. And so they have opened that, and a few months ago, the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, they bought a house down at Lime Keel, it was, formerly Manhattan Gardens, and that is going to be the headquarters. I'm not certain what's going to become of Massey's house. And let's go to this caller and say, good morning, caller. You're live on Island T.
They bought a house. Yes, Biff, I want to say quickly. Let me quickly say this. Don't also remember, let us not forget, Don Posante need attending to. Now, I believe ultimately the 2 bathrooms should be privatized to different owners, not one owner, to different owners. Both restrooms down there should be privatized.
I did hear that, Greg.
Yeah.
And
I think I heard something too.
I
to
heard
that
that.
effect.
And I went down there.
Yeah.
I was down there as recently as last week, Friday, I think it was. And the doors are still locked. And I have to call Scasper to find out what happened, because it's been about 2 months, 3 months. I think it was in March, 2 months that I went down there. And when I called Scasper, the lady said she's going to pass on the problem about the bathrooms not working to the permanent secretary and the minister. And I was really amazed, because I don't believe they have time. They have more important things to deal with, that somebody else lower down in the chain should be able to deal with it. But continue, Greg. 30 seconds.
They're not dealing with it.
Okay, 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, they're not dealing with it, so maybe this need to go to Joe as well.
Okay.
And me speaking what I'm doing to change government, well, I'm doing what the prophets them in the Bible did. Speak out. Speak out. It need a change in thinking, because no matter what else I do, if they thinking that government is the answer to everything, no matter what I do, won't change them. Things will stay gone. So what I'm doing, what the prophets used to do, just speak out and speak out and speak out and leave the results to God.
But could
anyway,
you?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Yeah, you want to say? Okay.
But could you not just speak out? Could you do something else, perform an action as well? I was going to take this call. The caller left. Okay, this call is back. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Island T. You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, one other thing, this thing about increasing population. I notice it's becoming very popular in the Caribbean generally. Even countries twice our size in both population and land mass saying the same thing. They need to increase the size of the population. And I think there should be more discussion about that, because that obviously have implications. And to me, the emphasis should be about making sure that with the size that you have, you manage it properly. Because if you look at our country right now, right, where you can challenge the kind of development plan and that we have, because it's like you just keep expanding less green areas and those kinds of things. What we should be looking for is to get the optimum in terms of the services that we offer, health, education, and so on, and the infrastructure based on on the size that we have now. In other words, make things better for the existing population before you run off on some tangent, bringing in more people that you then have to fend for.
Okay,
you catch what I mean?
Yes.
We should be more concerned with managing how we are right now, what we are right now, to make sure that we have a good standard of living and, good environmental conditions, those kinds of things, before we go trying to manage something that is bigger.
Okay, caller, thank you very much. That's interesting. And, hey, we have a lively sponsor session this morning, 6 minutes to go. We may be able to take a call, 15 seconds, maybe 2. But I was speaking about the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party purchasing what was the Manhattan Gardens down at Lime Keel as their new headquarters. And so that's the PLP having their headquarters there from Simaco, the old Simaco at Central Street, at Central and Spot Street. And the caller that said about the joining, and elections is coming, she's saying, and the People's Action Movement, they are having a press conference this afternoon to launch the candidate, their candidate for number 7 or number 8, I think it is. And we know here on WinFM 98.9, an independent candidate was launched for number 4 in the person of Henry Martin. I know him. He's from Half-Way-Tree. He went to Sandy Point High School. His mother passed recently, Pansy Marsham, if I'm not mistaken. Condolences to you, Henry, you and the family. And there's talk about, I've seen a flyer with a young lady, God's daughter, it says, contesting number 7 as an independent candidate. I have to get a little clarification. I'm hearing independent and hearing forming with a team, but I'll have to sort out that. And and I'm told that, well, there was a comment I had to check. 1 or 2 comments came in. Take the politics out of the Labor Day march. Simple, numbers are dwindling. And that is what Mr. McMahon did indicate, that the numbers are dwindling, which is not a good sign. Is it a case when, well, we are about to enter election mode? A previous caller said elections are constitutionally due by April next year. However, it can be called early. In Antigua, they call it elections early. And it can also be called after. Last election was August the 5th, I think it was, 2022. So, constitutionally, on paper, in one phase, it is due by the 4th of August, 2022. However, there's a provision, and this was first done by the Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, where persons were looking for elections at this date, but it was said like 6 months, sometimes 3 months after. And we have a call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Island T. You have 30 seconds.
Speaking about candidate, I saw a post. You there?
Yes, I'm listening.
I saw a post on Facebook by the leader of PAM. They said they're launching a candidate for number 8 later this afternoon at 4:30. So for all the listeners, clear, you're getting your rep for 8. I hope you're coming down. They're launching your candidate for number 8.
Okay, yes. Thanks a lot, caller. We appreciate that.
All right, then.
And thanks for your contribution. Oh, we have another caller here. Good morning, caller. You have 15 seconds. Welcome to Island T.
Yes, Biff, good morning again, man. Let me get you real quickly, 1 minute or less before you get off. I know you just said you was talking about the election, I understood that the election is supposed to be some time after the first parliament you sit in.
Yes.
Can somebody call in and clarify that, and so we can get the real date of when the election is constitutionally due, not just 5 years from the election date of 2022. And me personally, I saw a need for independents to come on board right now as options, so we can widen the field of candidates. But I'm going to say this, man. You see all the problems we're having with the march being political and stuff like that, and Labour Party affiliating themselves with the union and the march and all that kind of stuff. Me, what I'm seeing is like this. If we cannot remove that incumbent Labour government this time, right, or if the individual parties on the opposition are having a hard time, competing with the Labour Party, man, I have the wildest imagination. Like I always say before, St. Kitts and Nevis can be run by a small family once they're efficient, effective, and minimize the corruption. So if PLP and PAM and whoever is in opposition cannot remove this incumbent Labour government in the next election, I see a need for PLP and PAM to unite and just create a two-party system. And that's it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, caller. Very interesting view there, and some comments on Facebook. Those I read a few minutes ago. That was YouTube. Good morning, all. Good morning, guys. Tabernacle had Festab. Oh, yes, I didn't mention that. That was dealing with the community festivals. Thanks a lot, Gwyneth, for that input. It's only powerful if it's garnished fair results for the workers. That was dealing with the match. And somebody mentioned nonsense. And I listened to Mark Brantley's show last night. He made it abundantly clear that he's not cleaning no ground for monkey to run on. So we will wait and see. I don't know what that means. Aisha Speed had more people than the match. Government ain't gonna do much or nothing cause that gonna mean less money for thief. And then we had another comment. World Bank representatives. Where is that again? In the Federation today. This was aired on Mark Brantley show last night. And yes, they are projecting a 2% increase for our situation in St. Kitts. And another one, Bumbo Shalamo, pay taxes fewer. They need to top thief the money and manage properly. Nobody supposed to let themselves put on the pressure to cough up money. To give what the forgive me, it's dialect, and I guess I'm not as good as dialect as I thought. And really, that answer was pathetic. And these are comments on the Facebook. And hey, whoa, we actually over time. And we don't have voices today. Today is Thursday, so let me squeeze in this final call. 10 seconds caller. Good morning. Welcome. You're wrapping up.
Good morning, sir. Peace to you and our country. God bless all of us.
Same to you, sir. You have 10 seconds. We are over time.
Okay. All I want to say is that most countries, every class of person have their own union, so and the matches are actually organized by those unions. So hopefully that could be happening, but as you said, it's changed up by different things. But since this is for little time, I just want to say God bless St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course God bless Constitution, as I said. It pushes on. All right. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. That was the last call, but with your permission, I'll read the final comments here on what is this thing now? YouTube. And where do we go? Take the politics. Oh yes. Why not changes? How we will progress and advance. And smaller government indeed. I had the wildest idea. PAM and the PLP joined together, created two major party system and joined for the elections. A family can run SKN like the royal family in Saudi Arabia, once being efficient, effective, and minimal. And no, let's take off that. And once being, okay, that was the final comment. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining. Yes, those are all the comments, and I thank you for joining. And in terms of this joining, there's this thing about certain supporters of one party saying, rather than this party join with that party, they prefer to give it back to a third party and things like that. And obviously there are different views, different ideas, what persons would want. Some persons are saying, no, there's no way PLP or PAM should join with PLP again because we can't trust the leader. Others are saying, boy, that's the best thing to happen since sliced bread. So kiss and make up, forget about the past, and go back again. When I was small, there's a picture I used to like to watch, Rat Patrol. It was with the U.S. Army in the desert fighting against the Germans. And in this particular picture, it was a series. The Germans, the same Rat Patrol, there were people, 4 people, and there were two jeeps. Each had 2 persons, a driver and a man on the gun. And they were setting up to fight against the Germans. But they looked up and saw on the skyline one whole heap of Arabs, these desert people. But the desert people were fighting Americans, they were fighting the Germans. So the Germans and Americans came to a truce. And the moral of that story is, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You say, go? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Oh yes, I don't have to like you, but I have a problem with Peter. And Peter, you got a problem with Peter, so hey, shouldn't we tag up and Peter? And in the political landscape, that is basically the case. You don't have to be friends, but working towards a common cause. So if you and I join up, it's to put whoever out of place or try to get whatever. So a lot of discussions. There was a letter that came from PLP, somebody in PLP, suggesting that PLP, PAM, and NRP join. I found that interesting because the relationship was PAM, PLP, and CCM. But now the letter was suggesting, hey, forget about CCM and going to NRP. But hey, anyway, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, Godspear, on Island T perhaps. And there's a subject I didn't touch, and it hurts me. And I understand the Honorable Premier Mark Brantley made reference to it. I commend the St. Kitts Nevis Athletic for that St. Kitts Primary Schools versus Nevis Primary School track and field event they had on Sunday in Nevis. But in 2026, some of the athletes were running barefoot. But I understand the Premier spoke about that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been good indeed being here. I hope we got those calls we didn't get, we're able to call back and get them. And you can always WhatsApp me, 668-2055, and I can share your message or messages on the program for you. And you can call and I accept feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. If you don't like my hairdo, that's okay. You let me know. If you don't like my shirt, if you think I could do a little better in managing the program, hey, please give me your feedback. And I don't take any issues with that. I thank you, and I look at it and see how I could improve to serve you, because the show is all about you. I'm just fortunate to be the host, but the show is about you. It's your show. So thank you for joining us, and join us again tomorrow morning at 8. Cortense will be in the house, so you'll be hearing less of me tomorrow, Godspear, and we're going to be welcoming back. A lot of topics went down. And before I go, please be patient, or you will become a patient. You have to drive to arrive alive. If you're drinking, don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink. Get somebody, a designated driver, to drive who isn't drinking. Be responsible, because the life you take or the life you save may very well be your own or your loved one or loved ones. Always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Thank you for listening to Island Tea, and our regular programming continues after this.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
More than 42